little turtle.
Is that turtle?
No.
No, it's
Oh,
that was awesome.
you got me
for
like
ya.
really excited.
Sarah.
Thought it was.
Are out here back at the Slab Lab. It is over 30 days post MetaFloc treatment and installing aerators. We are back here collecting samples today. Patrick, tell us what we're going to find.
Some good water quality, some big zooplankton hopefully, and hopefully some rebounding of the invertebrates in the sediments.
Awesome.
Not just the oligochaetes, the red worms.
Nice. All right, well, stay tuned.
Okay, all right, and we're off. Hold on. I was not prepared for
Is it
that.
sounding funny?
It's fine.
It's supposed to sound like that?
No, but it's fine.
What we are about to do is collect some additional sediment samples, and we are going to use the Ekman dredge in order to grab the samples from the bottom. Those samples are going to be pulled at the bluegill spawning sites around the pond. The idea behind grabbing samples in these locations is we are going to be analyzing the benthic invertebrate communities. Prior to the treatments that we did a month and a half ago, we sampled the same sediment, and what we found was a severely degraded invertebrate community, primarily just consisting of oligochaetes or the red worms. We are hoping post-treatment, post-aeration, we're about a month and a half after those things have occurred, that we are going to start to see a recovery in those zones where fish will be living and spending a lot of their time.
John, can you get a bucket, or can you fly and get a bucket? All right, full speed ahead.
This is the Slab Lab way. The obstacle is the way.
We good here?
Yes, this is where there were beds at one time.
Oh, it looks like you got muck that time.
That's what we want. That's beautiful. Oh yeah. It's like a night of Taco Bell right there.
Oh my god. Oh gosh, Patrick, this is gonna be messy. Just go.
You want to pour it over?
Go. Before I change my mind. Good Lord have mercy. Look in there.
Okay, yeah, that's what we want. That sounded just like...
It's like Taco Bell. Just do it. Put your hand in it.
Oh no, we have enough. We don't need to do
Oh no, we have enough. As soon as he has to put his hand
1,000
in it, we have enough.
milliliters a liter. I'm not expecting too big of a results yet from the MetaFloc because the invertebrates take a couple seasons, can be, 6 months to almost a full season, but we should see some changes within a couple of months, start seeing rebound. All right, so we got all of our benthic invertebrates samples from the spawning areas of the lake, and now what we're going to do is we're We're going to take a 500 micron or sieve and filter this through of a known volume, and then we're going to go and count all the little critters that are in the mud and look at density and then also composition and see where we are currently. What is it, 42 days, 43 days post MetaFloc? So let's get going. Oh, there's a midge right there, a little bit bigger than the ones I saw last time. All right, so each one of these is going to be 500 mils. If you look right here, look at all these guys. They are looking so much bigger and so much bigger from what we had last time. They were maybe a quarter of the size. If you see that right there, they're kind of moving around. Much better. And so those are chironomids. Those are the blood midge. And they're red because they actually hold on to hemoglobin in their blood. That is a much better species than what we mostly had before, which was the oligochaetes, just the red worms they're less energy per cell than those ones. But what we really want is our dragonflies, mayflies, and some gastropods coming back. They're snails, aquatic snails. All right, so that's 2. So we got 1 liter. Oh my gosh, look how big this guy is. That's what we want. Much bigger size class. Those are really good, nutrient, high protein. That's good for right now.
Okay.
So I'm just filtering all the sediment away. Oh. Good Lord. This is a good amount right here to start processing through. We might have to do one more filtering. That is so much bigger and better than what we had before. I mean, that is what we're looking for. Nice bigger. This is a good stage. So if you see the smaller one, we had almost, there was no big ones. 0 beforehand. And it was mostly the oligochaetes. So we're starting to see this transition. What changes, or the most lag once we get the reset going, it's going to be these guys. It can take almost 1 to 2 full seasons before this assemblage is right where we want them to be, where we're going to get our mayflies and caddisflies and dragonflies all back. But this is really promising that we're already seeing this response just, a little over a month after the treatment. Size classes is coming back. So it was all like, see this really small one? It was all those guys. Really small. We didn't have any of these bigger size classes, and it was mostly just the worms. Not the midges. But you gotta think, if they're getting too small like these, it's much harder for the year, and it's in the mud, very hard for a year of young fish to be able to see that and capture it. They're going to be able to pick off these big ones much easier in those areas. So things are looking good. We're trending good. It'll be important to see where we are at that 4-month point. We should start seeing more dragonflies, mayflies, hopefully.
Over here is where I did my own little experiment, and I found bloodworm. I found all kinds of things in the dirt over there on the pond. But I did see all of these little things just scurry when I, of course, went stomping in there with my big feet. They just went everywhere, and I was like,
More recently?
Yes.
Post-meta. Okay.
Yeah, this was like this past weekend. I went on an
here's where we saw the fish, Sarah.
mission. Huh?
Over here's where we saw the fish.
So nutrient rich, high density energy forage for year of young, smaller.
Which is what we have in here right now.
Yeah, great.
We have brand new fish in here.
Yep. Yeah, they were hanging out underneath this little bank thing over here. Or at least one of them was.
That's where we dropped that camera in. We literally went down inside the pyramid, and that's where they were. So you're telling me we've got a food source?
We've got food.
Okay. What is all this floating in the water, midge? Do y'all see all that? The bugs?
So what are we doing here, Patrick?
So we've just filtered one of the benthic samples We have, in one of those bags, we were able to filter through 1,500 milliliters of sediment, mix oozed, and now we're going through and going to be figuring out the density of invertebrates and the composition of them. And what we're really trying to look for is this transition at post-restoration back to a better composition and better size classes for invertebrates. And remember, these were samples that were taken from the spawning areas, so these will be important, you know, little protein bites for the year of young fish moving forward. And so we want to maintain good size classes, much bigger, as you can see here, of your blood midge, your chironomids. So these will eventually turn into midges that will swarm around, and we want them to be of a bigger size class, 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters, and we're already seeing that, which is really good. What we also don't want is, we also want to be making sure that we're not going to get the phantom midge, which is the Chaeoboris. The Chaeoboris midge is a zooplankton's nightmare. They come up and they are very mobile, and they'll come up in at night and feed on your zooplankton and can completely wreck your zooplankton just from having high densities of the Chaeoboris. And so this is important for us to keep track of what the invertebrate community is doing and the composition, so that we can apply management levers if need be to improve it. You know, this is just the first one post meta, so I'm not expecting, you know, too much changes, but this is pretty promising. Already seeing a bigger size class, and you know, over the next year we should start seeing more composition, you know, more diversity, and you know, better improvements as we maintain better water quality. So this is the long-term response after restoration, and this method itself is a great way if you're buying a new pond, or you're just trying to get better understanding of what has happened to your pond in previous management and so forth. Go grab a benthic sample in the spawning areas or shallow areas, you know, 6 feet, 2 meters. And if you have mostly oligochaetes, worms, or if you just have small size chironomids, that would be suggesting that the lake has already experienced some really low DO events already and is probably broken, because it takes about a full year to, in some cases 2 years, for these guys to really come back into full, you know, diverse communities where you have, you know, all of your dragonflies, mayflies, your gastropods are you know, going to be able to thrive, because they're much more pollutant sensitive as opposed to these guys. These are more pollutant tolerant, as you can see with the red hemoglobin, which is a sign that they've, you know, the system has gone through low DO, so they're already storing and maintaining oxygen.
So you're picking the sample now, and then you're going to do a count?
Yeah, so I'm taking all the invertebrates in that 1,500 milliliters, and we're going to go through and count the amount. And so we'll have a density per area and have a better sense of the composition as well too. But in this sample, it's all looking like it's just the chironomids. I haven't found one oligochaete yet, so that's really good. No oligochaetes, and good size class too. I mean, they were really small prior to the restoration.
And so once the community gets back into balance, are there other invertebrates that will then prey on these guys so you don't have those swarms?
Yeah, so, well, the fish will eat these, but these guys, really just the Chaeoboris are the ones that compete with the mayflies and dragonflies. These aren't as, they don't compete as much because they are bound to the sediments. They're not mobile, they're not moving or anything like the Chaeoboris is. So, but in the total targets, what we're trying to achieve, you know, we're wanting like 50%, 60% of the community to actually be these guys. So, I mean, that's a good thing. There are some trade-offs with that, because we're gonna have, you know, there's gonna be obviously more midge-fly swarms around the lake, but that comes with, you know, having more forage for the fish. So, but if you're gonna have a midge that's gonna swarm, this is the one you want. You don't want the Chaeoboris. This is the chironomid blood midge, and you can see that those are nice little protein snacks for the fish.
Restoring an invertebrate community doesn't happen on its own in a severely degraded or nutrient-rich pond. It takes deliberate intervention to rebuild a healthy and diverse ecosystem. Why does this matter? Because in a trophy fishery, every part of that food web makes a difference. So if we are void of invertebrate community, but we have zooplankton, or we're void of zooplankton, but we have phytoplankton, we're missing a vital piece that is needed in order for that pond from top to bottom to thrive. One of the first things that we look at in restoring a trophy fishery is nutrient management. That nutrient management is really vital to these invertebrates. We've targeted the nutrients with MetaFloc, and then we've also followed up with treatments of MuckBiotics. Both reduce nutrient loading and improve the overall water quality from both what's in the water and then what's at the bottom of the pond as well. Not only does this help with managing those nutrients, but it also has helped to eliminate the harmful algal blooms or cyanobacteria. And that completely has disrupted the food chain here and caused a cascade of other problems throughout the ecosystem. In addition to that, looking at dissolved oxygen is a major component as well. So in this particular system, we've installed 2 Casco surface aerators, and by installing those, we've increased the oxygen levels from top to bottom day and night. That steady oxygen supply is critical for more sensitive invertebrate species to return and thrive. We've been able to maintain those dissolved oxygen levels and watch those with our data monitoring buoy, making sure that they never drop below the thresholds that we have set. With controlling the nutrients and stabilizing the oxygen and removing the harmful algae, we've been able to set a new foundation for the food web to begin to recover, which is a vital step in restoring the balance and long-term ecological health.
People are going to lose their minds over this.